Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy. As usual, I'm chilling, and just want to let you guys know that everything is good. And yeah, so been going through a little bit with the gods, but it's pretty good right now. Yeah, I don't know. Lately, been really connecting strongly to Lord Belial, and last night. Um, I spent about an hour with Goddess Hekate. Um, she revealed a couple of sigils that I wasn't aware of, and they turned out to be extremely powerful. One was just for her personally to come through, and then one was for a specific desire that, a lower desire that I'm trying to accomplish and manifest in my life. So that's just basically what's going on with that right now. So anyway, I got into this session with Goddess Hecate, who is it's not your patron, it's your matron. I'm not really sure, but she's my goddess. And I remember the first time that I met her, or she introduced herself to me, I should say that, like, she really blew me away, and she impacted me greatly. I think I just posted like a quick small video just about how excuse me, right after uh right after she introduced herself to me, um she just had me crying in my room, like, she just wow, she just broke me down, and it was incredible. So I'm in a session with her last night, and I spent about an hour with her, maybe a little less than that. Um, and it was extremely impactful. It was extremely um, it was very powerful. It was very impactful. Uh, Excuse me, guys, 1 second for I had to throw my charger and my phones. But I've been spending a lot of time with Lord Belial. And then I got into a session with Goddess Hecate. And one of the things that I really noticed, and maybe I really just, I guess I've always noticed it, but never really noticed it, was the difference in the the experiences. So Goddess Hecate is she's she's big into sigils, right? Like, she was instructing me on what sigils to use for this specific session, and what candles to use, and certain incense to use. She also instructed me on a sort of shit, I don't know what it was. It was some sort of concoction. So basically, I took some cloves, I took some cinnamon, I took some sage, I took some garlic, and I took some mint leaf oil, or just mint oil, and I mixed it up, and I took a little water and put it in there. So I have the sigils, I have this concoction, I have my incense, I have my candles, and then I get a glass of water, a specific glass that I use, and I give her a little blood. And what I do is I take the blood, and I'll just reveal this to you guys real quick. So what I do is I take a couple drops of blood, and I dip them into the water in the glass, and obviously the water changes color and all that. So what she said was, take a drop of blood and put it into this concoction. I don't want to say it was like a custom incense, but it was some sort of, between the mint oil and the sage and the cloves and the cinnamon and the garlic. At first, I'm like, I don't really know about this, but it ended up being a pretty sweet, like, savory scent. And I took a drop of clean water and put it in there and sort of mixed it all up. And then I took a drop of the water after I put my blood in it, and then I dropped that into this little, like this little dish that I had, or whatever, that I made up. And then I started to invoke her through the sigils and the candles and the concoction and the incense and all the shit that I had out there. And when she came through, so then I continued to, do my invocation, and she came through very strong, and she spoke through me and all that. But the ambiance and the settings and the sigil work and the candles and all these things, it's very, very, very different from when I invoke Lord Belial. Now, Belial, and just speaking from my personal experience, is he's not really into like sigils. He's not into seals. He's not really into like all the concoctions and all that. So basically, when I come to Belial, what I do is I get one candle and I have a few things inscribed into this candle, specific candles that I use for certain spirits. And I use this one candle, I get like a couple incense burning, and I have his seal, and then I have my seal that he gave me. So, because he gave me a seal, a sigil, a personal sigil, which is my own personal sigil. He gave this to me. And this is basically all I have. And I invoke him, and it's very like gritty, it's raw, it's powerful, and no doubt, but it's sort of just like, it's real basic. There isn't a lot of like extra. I'm trying to articulate what I'm trying to say here, but I can't really think of the words. So it's just a really basic invocation, and this is what Belial's into. From this basic invocation, we as magicians, sorcerers, etc., we can connect to him very, very strongly, very deeply. And like I said, it's just like a gritty feeling. It's like a gritty ambiance. It's sort of like dirty and muddy. And if this makes sense to you guys, it's sort of like a feeling of, like just darkness. But it's very, very difficult to explain, to articulate. Now, Goddess Hekate, I have two candles. I have multiple incense. I have the concoction she gave me. I have a glass with the blood, which I also use for Lord Belial. I take a glass of clean water, a specific glass that I use. I fill it up with bottled water, and I put some blood in it, and then I do a couple things with the water. I do something on my face, and I do something on the seal, a little bit on the candle, and I did the same thing for Goddess Hekate. But when Belial comes through during the invocation, it's a very strong shift of energy. So essentially, you're just kind of calling out to him, and there's a certain incantation that I use. We don't really use the old incantations. I think it's, I can't even remember it off the top of my head, but, we basically use incantations that we were given directly by him, not by another sorcerer who has experience with him, right? So the incantation that I use, it's well, you guys know the Balash tu Akma tu, that one works. Oshishibo Kushni Banda, that one works. But when Belial comes through, it's a very strong shift in energy. You definitely feel like his energy coming down on you, and then the invocation really starts to take over, or the spirit within you starts to take over. And a lot of times I'll be speaking in an unknown language. So like, if you ever heard of like Christians, I guess, speaking in tongues, right? This is the equivalent to that. I'm speaking now. At this point, the invocation has begun. Belial spirit is within me, and I begin to just speak a language. I do not understand it. I can't describe it. I don't know what it means, and it just flows out of me. I can't stop it. It's just some sort of language that I do not understand. It's an old angelic language that's alien to earth and alien to man. Now, when Goddess Hekate comes through, and again, this is just my personal experience, it's really clean. it's really smooth. It's a really light-hearted ambiance in the room. There's a glow. There's a certain just a changing of like I want to say like even the color of the air sort of changes, and there's just a really smooth transition from, you know, when you're calling out to her and to the point where the invocation has begun, where she's now within you, speaking within you. And when invoking her, there is no foreign language. There, you know, there isn't really a huge shift of energy. She sort of fills the room with her presence, for example, the consecrated space. She'll fill that with her presence, and then you'll just smoothly transition into her speaking through you. So the sigil setting, the ritual work is a lot different. She's really into sigils and incense, and just like I said, the concoction that I made. And then for both spirits, I use the glass with the blood, right? And this just intensifies all of these things. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys. Maybe in your experience, you know, you guys felt something like this with the different spirits you're working with, and of course, I'm sure that's the case, right? So different spirits obviously have different feelings and effects and that type of thing. But I just wanted to put it out there because it's very powerful, and it's a very, very different ambiance. It's a different setup. It's a different setting. It's very beautiful, right? So whereas Belial is more direct, more raw, more gritty, just more to the point type thing. Not so much in the sigils, not really in the concoctions of incense and different things like that. Though he appreciates those types of things, he's just like, look, let's get to the point, let's get to the invocation, and then I'm speaking in an unknown language, and that's been happening a lot lately, and it definitely didn't happen to me in the beginning when I started working with this spirit. Now, again, you know, Goddess Hekate, it's just a lot smoother. There's not an unknown language, but she's really into sigils and seals, and she's into nature, and she loves, you know, animals and things like that, and she really gets you, she really just gets you into all of that. So just wanted to post this for you guys, and, you know, maybe you guys can comment on it. But, you know, I find that with both spirits, the glass of clean water with the blood, and so, you know, I find that to be very, very powerful and impactful, you know, when trying to invoke these spirits. So, you know, I love you guys. Be safe out there. You know, live a life, embrace it, embrace who you are. Chase it down, chase what you desire, and taste it. Embrace it, chase it, taste it. Love you guys. Be safe. Praise the gods. Peace.